most important, constituency. All eyes were or still are on Nandigram. Nandigram or nothing seems to be what Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari both have in fact made their mantra and have been on the field throughout the day. Mamata Banerjee, in a scathing attack on the central government, said the CRPF is acting in a partisan manner and is protecting outsiders. She further alleged about 80% vote cast so far in Nandigram are fake and she will take legal action. She even alleged that Suvendu Adhikari was stopping voters from coming to the booth. Mamata Banerjee dialed Bengal governor, urging him to ensure free and fair polls. The Bengal governor responded by assuring concerned authorities will take all necessary steps in accordance to the law and order.
And every time, every election day, Narendra Modi is used to come to Bengal and give address. Why election day he will be campaigning? If we cannot campaign in the election areas, then why every election day the Prime Minister of this country, along with all facilities, including Doordarshan, including all agency, why he will be addressing the people every election day? Is it not wrong? Is it not violation of the conduct of election rules? They are, whatever they can do, they are trying. 80% not a single one action is rejected. But আমরা ভোটে যাব, আমরা লিগালিও অ্যাকশন নিচ্ছি। এইগুলো যারা আছে তারা দেখো সব একটাও বাংলাতে কথা বলছে না। They are not local people, outsiders. হিন্দিতে কথা বলা লোক দিদি বাইরে। হিন্দিতে কথা বলা। Outsiders. They came from here, you be outsiders. Don't. And they have been protected by the central forces.
Well, soon after Mamata Banerjee made these allegations, Suvendu Adhikari, who is now her main nemesis, the opponent who she is fighting in Nandigram, also, in fact, went to several polling booths. His convoy was also attacked while he was going from one booth to another. Listen in to what he said.
पूरा सीसीटीवी में रिकॉर्ड है, पूरा गलत काम किया है। यहाँ पूरा शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से चुनाव चल रहा है, इसमें कोई धांधली का शिकायत नहीं है। 4 पोलिंग एजेंट इधर अंदर है, मार्क्सवादी कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी का पोलिंग एजेंट है, इंडिपेंडेंट का है, बीजेपी का है। इसका इस एरिया में ममता बनर्जी पार्टी का कोई कैडर, कोई वर्कर नहीं है। वो सीधा सीधा ड्रामा पूरा दिन सुबह 7 बजे से सुवेंदु मार्केट में, ममता नहीं है। इसलिए ड्रामा और मीडिया पब्लिसिटी, इसके लिए फिरका परिस्थिति का जो रास्ता उन्होंने चुना।
Jeet Kundu, my colleague, now joining us from Nandigram. Let me take you straight live to the hotspot where all eyes are, in fact, this evening. Indrajit, a very, very hectic day for both Mamata Banerjee and Suvendu Adhikari. Mamata Banerjee, in fact, going across polling booth to polling booth. Who is more nervous? We are hearing allegations from both sides. Mamata Banerjee even alleging that many vote cast have been fake votes. Does it show little bit of nervousness as far as the Chief Minister is concerned?
Well, you know, Mamata Banerjee was at her residence here at Riyapara in Nandigram from 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when the polling started. And she was here holed up till about 1:30 in the afternoon. And only after 1:30 that she came out of her residence here and went straight to Boyal, where there were reports on certain discrepancies, and that's when there was this entire fiasco, this chaos that erupted when Mamata Banerjee entered, and her supporters spoke to her, said that you know, they were not being allowed to cast their vote, and Mamata Banerjee sat at the polling station for about an hour and a half or two. By that time, we'd seen two groups sloganeering at each other, Trinamool Congress supporters, BJP supporters, and then the Rapid Action Force and the Central Security Force were also deployed. So essentially, all through the day, we've seen Mamata Banerjee only visiting one poll booth, and that is booth number 7 at Boyal. area in Nandigram. And that's where she alleged that there were certain discrepancies and Trinamool Congress supporters would not be allowed to cast their vote. She in fact dialed the governor, Jagdeep Dhankar, from that very location and even spoke to the poll observers who rushed there to that location. However, after leaving that zone, she's on her way to other, polling stations as well. She's still continuing that survey. But interestingly, while Mamta Banerjee was at her residence all through the morning, Suvendu Adhikari was moving about from one area to the other, trying to see how the voting was taking place at this point in time. So we really can't judge as to who is more nervous, because in the morning, Suvendu Adhikari was on a whirlwind trip on Nandigram, and in the evening, now Mamta Banerjee is roaming around from one place to the other.
Stay on with me, Indrajit. Let me also now bring in National Affairs Editor India Today, Rahul Shrivastav, who's joining us for more perspective on this very, very crucial battle in Bengal. Rahul, as many those who are on the ground in West Bengal will say, the arithmetic still seems to be in favor of TMC, but the chemistry might not be favoring the party which has been in power for the last 2 terms. What is it that you are picking up? And if optics are to go by on the polling day, what would be your assessment of how the day went by for both Suvendu Adhikari and Mamta Banerjee?
Ankit, if you look at a very small element of today's polling or the West Bengal polling, that today Mamta Banerjee was restricted to Nandigram. Now, as the key and the biggest star campaigner of the TMC, had it been not a contest by BJP which poached Mr. Adhikari and then fielded from Nandigram, Mamta Banerjee would have been campaigning for phase 3, 4 and the remaining phases. The BJP did manage to bring in an element of restricting her for one day. And that's where lies perhaps the story, that the BJP has created a contest in which Mamta Banerjee is fighting very strongly. Now, there are several elements she's bringing in. It's a very high on optics kind of campaign. Mamta Banerjee, Chief Minister, with a cloth tied around her head in the searing, humid heat, driving around on a wheelchair, her legs strapped. All these are strong pictures and signals being sent out. Then, alleging that CRPF forces are stopping her voters, stopping her workers. She's basically sending out a signal to her voters and her cadres that the Chief Minister herself is fighting in the battle. Beyond that, there is another very strong element, Ankit. What Mamta Banerjee is doing in this contest is that she has realized that the battle for Bengal is no ordinary battle. Since 1977, when the left and the TMC have ruled, West Bengal has largely been a domain of the regional satraps. And in that, the BJP's entry has added a national color, that if Bengal falls, it will become yet another national party ruled state. And that's where lies the catch, that Mamta is battling the BJP, so-called emperor from Delhi and the Nawab of Bengal. And that's where lies the most intense element of this election.
Rahul, thank you so much, for just putting things in perspective. As Rahul was saying, those could be very powerful images, but the fact also remains that Suvendu Adhikari and the Adhikari family, they have a lot also online as far as this election is concerned, just not for their political future, possibly for their commercial interests as well. This is going to be a battle that possibly is going to decide which way is the future of Bengal going to be. Thank you so much, Rahul Shrivastav and Indrajit, for joining us now. Something which is very disturbing. Once again, a sporadic incident of violence in the second phase of polling in West Bengal as well. Both the BJP and the TMC alleging and counter-alleging that their cadre or their people were attacked. Take a look at how the day unfolded when it comes to this violence on the day of polling and the second phase in West Bengal.
Sporadic violence amid second phase of Bengal polls. In the high-stakes Nandigram seat, BJP candidate Suvendu Adhikari's convoy was targeted and pelted with stones. While the BJP leader emerged unhurt, one of the cars in his convoy was damaged. The BJP candidate blamed a particular community for the assault.
टीएमसी डेस्परेट एटीट्यूड होकर लेकर ये सब काम कर रहा है, और खासकर एक समुदाय के लोग उसको भड़का के देखिए पूरा एरिया में नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ पॉकेट है, बाकी 10 मुद्दे जय श्री राम, हरे कृष्ण, माँ काली, माँ दुर्गा का डिवोटी है, वो लोग तो शांत है।
Amid voting, a BJP worker was found hanging at his home in Nandigram. BJP blamed TMC for the death, saying the worker was under pressure from the ruling party.
हमारी एक बीजेपी वर्कर को घर में घुस के कुछ पिटपाट किया, वो कांचन नगर में हुआ, ओंकार जाना, और एक ही फांसी लगाने हुए, उसका पीछे पंचायत मेंबर आमिरुल है, उसका तुरंत गिरफ्तारी की मांग है।
ओवरऑल पीसफुल है,
ओवरऑल पीसफुल है, पूरा शिकंजा कस दिया सेंट्रल फोर्स ने।
In West Mednipur, BJP election agent Tanmay Ghosh's car was vandalized. A woman BJP worker was hospitalized after attack by suspected TMC workers.
तन्मय घोष का गाड़ी के ऊपर बहुत ही बुरी तरह से हमला किया है, और पिस्तौल लेके, ओपनली पिस्तौल लेके ड्राइवर का कंधे पे आघात किया है, और थोड़ा ज्यादा होता तो जान से ये लोग जो 3 लोग छोड़ने के लिए गया था, वो 3 लोग जान से मर जाता।
Some TMC supporters and BJP Debra candidate Bharti Ghosh's team had a face-off. Ghosh alleged booth capturing by TMC. Ruling party accused Ghosh of bribing voters.
क्या सिक्योरिटी? फिर तो जमायत है, फिर तो देखिए जमायत हो रहा है। क्या सिक्योरिटी? कुछ सिक्योरिटी नहीं है वेस्ट बंगाल में।
तो सीआरपीएफ अपना काम नहीं कर रही क्या?
सीआरपीएफ पोलिंग बूथ का अंदर में उनको जो ड्यूटी दिया गया है वो कर रहा है, लेकिन हमने इलेक्शन कमीशन को पहला दिन से बोला कि देयर इज अ फियर साइकोसिस बीइंग क्रिएटेड बाय द गून्स।
मैं बहुत ज़्यादा कॉन्फिडेंट हूँ, मुझे पता है कि बंगाल और बांकुड़ा दीदी को ही वोट करेंगे, दीदी के लिए ही वोट करेंगे। शायद इसीलिए दोनों स्ट्रॉन्ग बूथ पे ईवीएम मशीन्स 2 घंटे से बंद थी।
Actor turned TMC Bankura nominee Sayantika Banerjee claimed that Bharti Ghosh is openly violating poll code. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, as it has almost become a norm every polling day, especially in a long phased out elections, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was once again on the campaign trail in West Bengal, in Assam. He hit out at Mamta Banerjee, unsparing attacks by the Prime Minister, completely shredding into Mamta Banerjee, which was responded later by the Chief Minister of West Bengal as well. Listening to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the campaign trail as West Bengal was already voting for Phase 2.
दीदी तृणमूल कुल नहीं, बंगाल के लोगों के लिए शूल है, शूल। बंगाल को असहनीय पीड़ा देने वाला शूल है तृणमूल। बंगाल के साथ अन्याय करने वाला शूल है तृणमूल। ममता दीदी, आपको वोट के लिए किसी को खुश करना है तो ये आपका अधिकार है, आप जरूर करिए। आपको मुझे गाली देनी है, जरूर देते रहिए, लेकिन पश्चिम बंगाल के लोगों की आस्था को, रामकृष्ण परमहंस, स्वामी विवेकानंद, चैतन्य महाप्रभु की पहचान को मैं गाली नहीं देने दूंगा। एक से एक भद्दी गालियां आपने मुझे दी है, लेकिन दीदी मेरा आग्रह आपसे यही है कि देश का संविधान का अपमान मत करिए, बाबा साहब आंबेडकर की भावना का अपमान मत करिए। वाकई साथियों, मैं हैरान हूं कि दीदी को क्या हो गया है।